you looking to grow revenues, increase profitability, or obtain financing? If so, you came to the right place.
Running a business is all about leadership. How do you become a better leader? Learn from the successful entrepreneurs and business owners how to lead your organization more effectively. That's why we created Leadership Live at 805, Talking Small Business, to help you succeed with your host, Andrew Frazier, Business Growth Pro and CFO and founder of the Small Business Pro University. Every Tuesday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern, we're joined by experienced entrepreneurs and business owners who share their secrets to success via Livestream. Also, every Friday morning, we release a new podcast episode. Either way, you will learn about developing your business leadership skills from our roster of highly performing guest experts. Leadership Live is one of the many valuable resources provided through the Small Business Pro University, empowering business owners to learn, profit, and grow. Find out more at sbprou.com.
Good evening. Welcome back to Leadership Live at 805, Talking Small Business. This is your host, Andrew Frazier, and I'm excited once again to be back with you talking about one of my favorite subjects, leadership. As you know, small business owners face many challenges, and one of the key things that they need to do to be successful and overcome those challenges is develop their leadership skills. So that's really what we focus on here, and we bring guest experts, guest leaders, business people, thought leaders, and different people, different perspectives that can help you as a business owner be more successful in what you do. Tonight, I'm very excited to have a special guest. Guest is Evan Frazier, and you guessed it, that's my brother, and he's doing some great things, and I'm excited about having him here today. I've known him pretty much all my life, and he's a pretty decent guy. So I think you'll realize that as well. And we're going to be really focused on leadership and becoming the leader you need to be to move your business forward. And that's what it's all about: continual improvement, continually moving forward, and building your business, building your team, building your products and services, and really building your capacity and capabilities over time. So we're going to talk about quite a few things, but one of the things we're going to focus on is some concepts that Evan outlined in his book that he wrote 10 to 15 years ago. It's called Most Likely to Succeed, the Frazier Formula for Success. So he actually came up with the formula before me, but since I'm older, he must have learned it from me, and he just wrote it down instead. So we're going to talk about that and really what that formula is and how it works and how it can work for you. As well, he's had a lot of different experience in a lot of different ways in a lot of different places that he's going to be able to share, his expertise and knowledge and perspective. Currently, what he's doing is he actually created a leadership institute that he just left corporate America to run. And it's pretty exciting. He's doing some great things there. And I'm just going to do a quick introduction to the institute. Okay. So that's a little bit about his organization, where he's going to talk more about it as we go. But let me invite Ev on so you can say hello to him. Hey, Ev, welcome to Leadership Live. How are you doing this evening?
How you doing over there? Great to be on your show. Always great to connect with family, but also people who are really doing some great things from a leadership perspective out there. So appreciate what you're doing with both SB Pro University, but also with the Leadership Live at 8:05.
Okay, thanks, Ev. I appreciate that. You're joining us up from Pittsburgh. So Pittsburgh's in the house, and excited to see that, and look forward to getting back there fairly soon if possible. So, but tonight we're really going to be talking about leadership and small business, and really how those go hand in hand, and how you can become a special leader. At what point did you realize that you were a leader, and what does leadership mean to you?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. No, for me, I really think back to some of my elementary school days. I remember the opportunity to serve as captain of the safety patrols. I remember that experience, and I knew that required some leadership, because it dealt with a sense of responsibility and leading others in the way. I remember working with you. We as you know, we started a paper route when I was 8, and I guess you were 9.5 or 10, and we started a paper route, and that was 7 days a week, and it took a certain amount of leadership to kind of push that forward each and every day, whether you felt like it or not, or whether you had a ball game or whatever it was. As we had to just kind of push it through and make sure that we took care of our customers and had a sense of responsibility there. And I'll never forget, there was a time in it was probably 4th grade. I was president of my class, I believe. I can't remember exactly how that went, but I remember I had to advocate for the class so that we could have our senior field trip. And so it's things like that let you know that it requires leadership to be able to persevere and kind of work with others to go towards a common vision or a common goal. And so for me, when I think about leadership, I think it's really it's really to be able to inspire a shared vision. And to me, that's important, to be able to not just move yourself forward, but have a shared vision that other people are also motivated and inspired by. And so to me, that's really important. So to be able to have that kind of a vision, but also to be able to drive towards it. And when you're driving towards it, you're not the only one driving towards it. Others are driving towards it with you. And to me, I think that's a really important part of leadership.
Okay, excellent. So you started out and doing a lot of things. One thing I remember is that you were in junior achievement, and that was a great opportunity to learn a lot and have access to opportunities. Talk a little bit about how that benefited you and what you learned.
Yeah, no question. Now all this stuff takes us way back to those early days. So junior achievement, all 4 years of high school, I was involved with junior achievement. If you're not familiar with it, it's a great program. At the time, they had these companies where you would, as high school students, you would essentially put in stock, create a company, and run the company for a period of time, and then liquidate it at the end of that semester or series, that year, if you will. And to me, that was such a powerful thing. The ability to learn how to work with others, to sell, to have a strategy. There's a financial part. There's a manufacturing part. To me, that was really important in my experiences. I had a chance. I think at my first year, I was. They had titles, so I was vice president of marketing that first year, and then the next 2 years, I was president of the company. One was a manufacturing company, and then the other was a service company. And so it was a lot of fun to kind of see that, and then to go to the conferences and to be able to work with others and really take ownership in driving towards a vision. So as you know, we started early. Like I said, I was 8 when we had our paper route. And just as we went through the years, through junior achievement and other opportunities, I tried to take advantage of all of them as I was growing up. And the other fortunate part is we had parents who also knew a little something about leadership. And Dad was always great and connected with folks, real people person. But our mom was the one who, when you talk about leadership, she really demonstrated that. She was an advocate, and she ran organizations, civic association. I remember the student business association, or the student teacher association, parent student. I forget what it was called, but she really played an active leadership role. And so to me, I think we're very fortunate as young people to have the kind of parents we did, but also be afforded the kind of experiences that we both took advantage of as we were young.
Yes, definitely. And no matter where you are, you throughout your life, you build on your experiences and your influences. And it even carried forth. You went to school at Cornell, and you were involved in quite a few things there. Talk a little bit about where you were able to take your leadership skills and even grow them and develop them further.
Sure. No, I mean, everything builds on one another. And when I got to college, while I did have some fortunate experiences to kind of help get me to that point, including some wonderful internships with Eaton Park restaurants when I was in high school, that really also helped. But when I was in college, I'm drawing from my college experiences all the time. I studied organizational management at Cornell University. It was within the hotel school. I actually self-directed a concentration in organizational management. And while I was there, I had a lot of opportunities. I was president of the Minority Business Student Association, and I was very proud of that. But even more so, I had a vision for an organization to expand an organization in the hospitality industry. There was a group on campus called SMH, the Society of Minority Hoteliers. And I had a vision, and through connecting with peers and other colleagues, it became a shared vision. And so there were four of us who ended up co-founding a group called NSMH, the National Society of Minorities in Hospitality. And if you're ever familiar with the organization called NSBE, National Society of Black Engineers, they have locations across colleges across the country and even broader, I'm sure. And we were structured in a very similar way. So over time, we built that from the time we started, shared the vision, which was late in my freshman year. And then sophomore year, we started to build it. We created a national conference. Over the course of the next couple of years, we actually created the structure. And my senior year, I served as the national chair, where we had our first constitutional convention, and we formed the first 10 chapters. And from there, even as we graduated, we had put a structure in place, and we actually created our own C3. We moved away from the university and created a much broader entity. And I was very proud to know that even 30 some years later, it's still moving and growing, and very proud to see it grow over the years. At one point, we had over 100 chapters at colleges and universities. And just in recent years, we formed what was called the NSMH Legacy Fund, which is really kind of a foundation arm to continue to support the goals and the mission of NSMH. And so very proud of that. There's some amazing student leaders. It's a student-run organization. They're the ones who make it happen. But I remember very clearly, very vividly, spending so much of my time applying everything I learned, whether it's finance or management, just all the skills I was learning in school, I was applying immediately as we were building this organization. And I had several other colleagues, Michael Burkeen, Alfred Watts, Penelope Wint, all were critical in our ability to kind of co-found NSMH, and many, I'd say hundreds, but even thousands of people contributed to its development over the years. And so I draw from that all the time, even the work I do today.
That's huge. One thing about leadership is it doesn't just benefit you today. Leadership builds upon itself. And like you said, the shared vision, people follow leaders. And people, and it, can come to a life of its own. And if you're going to really be a successful business owner, you have to create an organization that can run successfully without you. And you can't do that without developing your leadership, but not only yours, but the leadership of your team. And that's really one of the keys to success in small business. So I know you've done a million things and we want to cover them, but we really want to get to the heart of leadership. So I'm just going to name a few things that you did so we don't miss anything. And then we want to get to the Frazier Formula for success, because that's really what people need to understand. It really outlines some keys to help make you a whole bunch more successful. So, definitely through the years, you run a major nonprofit, the Hill House, and help bring a supermarket to really a food desert community, among other things. You've raised millions of dollars for different organizations. You've been on a lot of boards, including Carnegie Mellon University, and you've been a corporate executive for many years. Did I miss anything?
Yeah, no. Well, thank you for sharing that. No, I feel very fortunate to have a variety of experiences, from initially hospitality to nonprofits, went into banking and finance, and then healthcare. I spent, before my current role, I spent 11 years as a senior vice president for Highmark Health, which is just a great organization. And but I do want to just share a little bit about what I currently do. I know you saw the video, but I don't know if there was any sound, so I don't know if anyone heard it. But I just want to quickly share. Currently, serve as the president and CEO of the Advanced Leadership Institute, and our goal is really to cultivate Black executive leaders, leadership, to strengthen companies, institutions, and communities. And so several years ago, we started as an initiative. We partnered with Carnegie Mellon's Tepper School of Business to create the Executive Leadership Academy right here in Pittsburgh. And with that experience, we were able to really create a world-class, customized executive program for African Americans, and for Black professionals as a whole. And so we kicked it off several years ago. 2019, we had our first cohort of 23 cohort members. In 2020, we had, again, it's a 7 to 8 month program that we do. In 2020, we graduated 28. And this year in 2021, another 28. And so we now have 79 alumni from the Executive Leadership Academy. And just a couple months ago, we went from an initiative and formed an institute, a separate 501c3 institute, so that we can continue to build the regional model, both with the academy, with executives and mid-level managers, as well as we just launched an emerging leaders program, which will start this fall. And then we're also doing significant alumni programming. And we believe that's going to really have an impact in helping to advance Black leaders in this particular community. And over time, we believe that we'll be able to take this model and share this model and have impact, not just in Pittsburgh, but around the country.
That's outstanding. I mean, definitely, it's already having an impact, and, with your continued leadership, the sky's the limit. So definitely looking forward to seeing how it grows, and, it's definitely going to change a lot of people's lives in a good way. So glad to see that you're doing it and excited about the future there. So want to talk to you about, you came up with the Frazier Formula for Success. So what is that, and how does that work?
Well, of course, I borrowed it from you. Where else would I get it, right? Had to throw that in there. So basically, the Frazier Formula for Success, it really stemmed from, back in my college days. I was trying to figure out something that was meaningful that I could share with others to put in a yearbook. And after thinking about it for a couple of days and really scratching my head and like, okay, well, what could I share that would be wisdom? And I wrote, there are 3 ingredients to success: a vision, a plan, and the right attitude. And over time, I started to realize that, it was actually pretty, while it was a simple formula, it was more and more profound. And I found that not only did it help me to clarify and that it resembled a lot of the ways I thought about life and success, but I saw other people benefiting from the very simple concept of applying a person's vision and really setting a strong vision, aligning a plan to that vision, and then making sure that from an attitude perspective, that's also in alignment with your vision. And that it really is a very, very powerful way when those three elements come together that really position not only myself, but anyone for success. And I've seen others use it in a very similar way, regardless of what industry you're in and those type of things. So I spoke about it probably for 15 years. And then decided to write my first book. And so it was published in 2008. It's called Most Likely to Succeed, the Frazier Formula for Success. And that was really the core of it. This idea that success is a combination and alignment of your vision, your plan, and the right attitude. And so those are the broad concepts and underpinnings. But then there's some other components to it that I'd be happy to share.
Okay, so one thing about the formula that first it really simplifies something that's very complex, but there's even another revelation that one component of the formula is way more important than all the others. So can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I mean, all of them are important, no doubt about it. But I would say that vision is really critical, because if you don't set your vision, how do you really create a plan that's going to help you to get there? You won't know what the destination really is. There's a million directions we can all go in our lives. But if you don't take the time to really craft your vision statement, actually not just think about, say, I want to be this and when I grow up, but write it down and really internalize it in a way that has deep meaning. And so when you sit down to create your plan, you could actually map a plan, concrete steps that are going to help you achieve your vision. So I would say vision is absolutely critical. Plan is important as well. Don't get me wrong. A former boss of mine used to say, vision without a plan, vision without a plan is an illusion. So you got to have a plan that helps you to get there. But it starts with vision. And then I would also argue that probably one of the most critical components is the right attitude. And when I think about the right attitude, I think about it broadly, not just, your mood that day, but, in terms of, your perspective, do you believe you can achieve your vision? Are you, it's more those motivational, the broad attitude that you bring. If you're a competitor, what's the attitude you need to bring into that arena to be a competitor? If you are about serving the community, what's the right attitude that allows you to have the right compassion to serve the community? And so the attitude is so critical. And what I found over the years is that, life is cyclical, just the same way as that all of us will have high points in our life. Everyone also has low points, so you have these cycles. And what I found is that the people, at the high points, everything's fine. But it's when people hit their low points where the right attitude makes all the difference, So when you're in a low point, do you still believe you can achieve your vision? Even if you can't do anything about it that day, that month, even that year, do you still believe you can get there? Are you looking at the glass half empty or half full? And so it's those type of things, perseverance, to be successful in anything, you got to have some level of perseverance, because anything worthwhile is not going to come easy. So you got to be able to push through some stuff. So that attitude part is absolutely critical. But I believe the power is in all three components coming together, really having that vision, creating that plan with concrete steps, both personal and professional, and then having the right attitude that's lined up with your vision. That's going to help you to strengthen your ability to achieve your vision as opposed to pulling you away and making it more difficult for you to achieve your vision.
Okay, no, that makes sense. So, along with the formula, which you really, which really lays out what you need to do, there's also, I believe it's a ladder that you created that really lays out who you need to be. Yeah. Because leadership's not only about doing, it's about being a leader, and what makes people the leader, makes you be able to influence people, and allows people to follow your message and where you're going. So can you talk a little bit about who you need to be, or who you should be striving to be a better leader?
Yeah. Well, let me just start by just sharing some of the points you're talking about. So in the second part of the book, I talk about what I call support anchors, right? These are those steps, those additional steps that really help both with attitude and with all the things that, all the elements of the formula. So it's like a complement to it, if you will. And so, the first really starts with integrity, the importance of integrity, being able to follow strong principles. That's key. It's key in business, and it's key in life. And it's really fundamental. People who don't have the right integrity, it's hard for us to really believe in those folks sometimes. And I think that's a fundamental building block in my mind. There's another step that just really focuses on learning from your experience, this idea of persistence and resilience. And that's really critical no matter what you go into. You've got to have a level of persistence and resilience to be able to push through those times to really be successful. I had a chapter on, and this is one of the other support anchors. I just call it confidence, not arrogance. And it's really this idea of, how do you earn respect from others as opposed to just demand it? And this idea that, confidence is really where you want to be, and we could all turn to someone who's arrogant that became very successful somehow. But you have to ask the question, did they become successful because they were arrogant, or they became successful despite that? So I talk about the difference between confidence and arrogance. Multiple mentors. It's this idea that, it's unlikely that one mentor can, provide you everything you need in all aspects of your life. And I always believe that it's important to build a team of mentors, sometimes for different things in different areas, but really having a team of people that can provide you guidance and mentoring. And at the end of the day, you have to own your own decisions. And sometimes mentors can even provide conflicting advice and guidance. It's up to you, to make the decisions, but informed decisions. And having a team of mentors really can make a difference there. There's a chapter that talks about the balancing and meshing the personal and the professional. How do you find that balance? Because there's a link between the two, and it's important to really understand that. If a person is buttoned up and professional during the week, but on the weekend they're hitting people over the head and getting themselves in trouble, that's going to impact your ability to be successful and move towards your vision. You've got to have an understanding and build your plan, both for not only just the professional side, but the personal side. And so those things are really important. There are two other parts to that diagram that Andrew was talking about. One is the importance of giving back, making your contribution. I talk about in the book, that, studies will show that people who give back feel more successful. There was a study, it said that 43%, you're 43% more likely to feel successful if you're actively giving back, whether that's financially, volunteer-wise, or otherwise. There is a difference there, and people who give back are more successful. And then people always ask the question of, well, when is it time to reevaluate your vision? And so there was a chapter in the support anchor on that. And it's just this idea of adapting to change. You set your vision, The goal is not to change your vision every day or every week or even every year. But there are times in our lives when we may start to see the world differently. And I would say those are probably the times where you want to go back and start to reevaluate your vision. Because at the end of the day, your vision really is your kind of self-determined criteria for success. And so when you start to question, is my vision motivational to me? That's the time where you need to step back and kind of relook at that and relook at what success means and recraft your vision statement just to make sure it's in alignment with where you do want to go. And so that's the basic synopsis. I know we don't have a lot of time today, but those are I call them support anchors. But the reality is that they really complement the formula that I shared with you, which is again, success equals your vision, building a plan, and the right attitude.
Okay, outstanding. All of those are key things that you should be thinking about as a leader, and really how you plan to build upon them. And all those things can be roadblocks to your success if you aren't careful and you don't really focus on them. And like Ev said, we don't have a lot of time, but I think one stuck out to me significantly, especially for entrepreneurs and business owners, even more so. And that's really balancing your personal and professional, side of your life. Yeah. Because, even more so as a business owner, your brand is you. So, they both have to be in alignment. So could you talk a little bit more about, really what you mean as far as that support anchor?
Yeah. So Andrew, I think you're right on. I mean, certainly business owners, entrepreneurs, they spend so much time, having to really focus and build the business, and it becomes kind of consuming, right? And so, and that's when it's particularly important to, know that balance is important to you. That it's important to be able to take the breaks from a health perspective, mental health, physical health, all very important because if you don't take care of those things, it's absolutely going to impact your ability to be successful, even on the business side. So you have to, take the time, whether it's the exercise, whether it's, if you're a person of faith, finding the right time to reconnect in prayer. If it's, your certain activities that you love that provide you energy and joy and get your mind off of the work, those are important things. And so that is really important. And let me just say that I'm pretty much a workaholic too. I've been one of those people that, I really do spend a lot of hours driving pretty hard. And I remember having some conversations with some folks, really a mentor group that I was a part of. And I was sharing with them that, for me, balance may not look like balance for someone else. Someone else might be like, I get 9 hours of sleep. I exercise 3 hours a day. I play golf 4 times a week, and that's wonderful. I can't get there, not in that same way, so balance for me doesn't quite look like that. And I found that for me, I had to find, what does balance mean for me? It doesn't have to be the same balance that someone else has, but I have to be able to, stay healthy, physically, mentally, otherwise. And that's really important. So for me, when things were getting real busy, I'm doing work in the community, working the job, had entrepreneurial ventures and all those type of things. And I was raising kids, and I had a wife who was traveling a good part of the time. And so I had the two boys with me while my wife was traveling with my daughter, and life was busy. And one of the things, that I was able to do to find some sense of a balance is one, I was able to get someone to come in so that the cleaning the house during that period of time. So I didn't have that as an extra burden. We hired a nanny that could help to drive the kids to their activities from time to time. That took a lot of pressure off as well. And so finding those things that will give you the balance that you need is important. It's not the same for everyone, but you have to find out what does that mean for you. I know for myself during the times of COVID, we're all kind of, locked inside and working from home. And it was pretty stressful, especially right around the time, at least, when there was so much going on with last summer, with the post George Floyd and things happening from the racial conversation that was taking place at the national level. It was definitely a stressful time. And I know for me, I would, be more regular in taking walks. I also went back to a passion that I had, which was in the martial arts. And I started doing private karate lessons and really enjoyed it. And it really was helpful in helping me find balance during that particularly stressful time. And so, it's finding that time with family, it's finding the time with faith, and so, but you got to find it for yourself. But the bottom line is you need to find the balance in whatever way makes sense to you.
Yeah, no, I mean, definitely agree. I work a little bit and run into those same issues.
Just a little bit.
just a little tiny
a little bit.
That's great. I mean, I think entrepreneurs, business owners need to hear that, because sometimes you forget because you have your head down. But also, the side of, consistency in your personal and business life, because, as a business owner, you have to be always on. So if your personal life doesn't line up with your business life, that could be a problem, because people usually buy from you because they know, trust, and like you. So if you're hurting that equation, you're hurting your business.
Right.
So keep that in mind as well. So, I think that's key. So, I think we've covered a lot of stuff. The hour goes pretty fast. We still got some time, but just want to take a sec to, number one, the show is, brought to you by the Small Business Pro University. And in case you don't know what the Small Business Pro University is, want to show you a quick video. And not only that, in the Small Business University, one of our courses is brought to you by none other than Evan Frazier, and he talks about how to be most likely to succeed. So you get a chance to learn about the Small Business Pro University, and we'll be back here with Evan. We're going to talk a little bit about some examples of people he's worked with in terms of helping them to be more likely to succeed. So we'll catch up to you in 1 sec.
Do you own your business, or does it own you? Is your business growing, and are you making enough money? As a business owner, there are so many things you need to know to become more successful. Hello, my name is Andrew Frazier, the Business Growth Pro and CFO. I created the Small Business Pro University for you. Small Business Pro University has self-paced, dynamic, multimedia learning experiences created by more than 20 instructors who are business owners just like you. Small Business Pro University will empower you to become a masterpreneur by learning the secrets to creating a successful enterprise, to go from working in your business to working on your business. Take advantage of our strategic coaching program, or just simply choose the courses that you need at www.sbprou.com. We will empower you to thrive and not just survive, and make more money in any business environment.
Welcome back to Leadership Live at 8:05, here with Evan Frazier, and we're talking about personal leadership, Frazier Formula for Success, and really went into what it is. But let's talk about how it works. I know you've worked, coached, mentored, and worked with many people over years. Can you give an example of sort of how that process goes, and what people have learned and received from implementing that?
Yeah. Well, thank you. I'm very fortunate to have, served as a mentor for a good number of people over the years. And, so everyone's circumstance is a little bit different. I found that, sometimes it's as simple as, helping people to clarify the vision that they have as they are trying to make strategic steps in their life. If, there are often times where, people, are trying to make these major life decisions, but really don't know what direction they want to head. They really hadn't grounded themselves to think long enough about what does success look like for them and what's important to them from that standpoint. And so I try to encourage people to, sometimes start with the basics. What is your vision? Okay, let's talk through the plan. So I very much use the framework, that we shared earlier, the Frazier Formula for Success. I really do use that framework a lot as I talk to folks and try to, assist along the way. Because it feels to me that there are a lot of the key elements for success are built in analyzing, someone's goals and their aspirations in that way. And sometimes it's about listening, just listening to what the challenges that they're facing, pulling from wisdom, experiences maybe that you've had as a person that you can share, either as a professional or in your personal life. Sometimes sharing those stories makes a difference for someone else. I mean, there's very often it's so comforting. You feel like you're the only person going through something. But the reality is most people have gone through what you've gone through, or many people have. And it's about understanding, for those who went through it successfully or even unsuccessfully, but are able to learn from those experiences. I think that's really important. That's really important. The other thing I think that's really important, and I try to share with people all the time is, you can't really grow if you don't fail at something, right? If you're perfect in everything and you just, that's where you are, then it's hard to really grow exponentially. I was just actually currently in the process of reading a book that really, talks about this idea of, growth, a growth mindset versus a fixed mindset, right? And, those who have like a really fixed mindset, they're just kind of afraid to fail. And so they're not going to take many risks because they don't want to fail. They want to just, always want to be seen as successful. They don't want to, be viewed in any other way. But the reality is it's unlikely they're able to really grow and really fulfill their full potential, because in order to do that, you have to take some risk and you have to, fail sometimes and then build from those experiences. And that's important. And I think that, part of, becoming a leader and maximizing your leadership ability, sometimes you got to put yourself out there. You got to put yourself out there. I know that the organizations that I was a part of creating, you had to put yourself out there. There was risk. It's like, oh, what was this program Frazier's, doing, and so sometimes you gotta take a risk and then work to see things through, and don't look at a setback as a failure. Just look at it as a temporary setback that you can learn from, and then you build on top of it. And I think that's an important lesson for entrepreneurs or anyone who's looking to kind of build for success. I mean, you think back to books like Think and Grow Rich. They talk about Andrew Carnegie, who, and there's many other stories like that. But I just remember very clearly, he, technically failed at a business, as he was trying to create the U.S. Steel, 17, 18 times before he got it. And just, but when he got it, he really got it and became one of the most successful business people ever. And there are many, many, many stories like that where people who, have become really successful, but had a lot of setbacks. It's just they didn't look at the setbacks as ultimate failures. they just looked at them as just that, temporary setbacks, opportunities, lessons for learning, instead of just getting frustrated and then hitting your head and doing the same thing again. They said, okay, well, that didn't work. And why didn't it work? And let me figure out how to do it again. Next time I do it, I'm going to try it differently. And it's that kind of mindset that is going to allow you to be successful in anything that you go into, because it does take a certain amount of risk in order to grow. And if you're unwilling to take that risk, then I'm not saying take, just be, we're talking about responsible risk here, but still, it's still risk. You're putting yourself out there. And sometimes you have to do that to be a leader. And sometimes you have to do that to be able to grow and really fulfill your potential.
I mean, that's perfect. I mean, especially as a business owner, you're going to fail. You have to fail to figure things out, because, my business is nothing like it was 3 years ago. You have to continue to evolve. What I originally expected to be doing was different. But a lot of it was because of things I've learned along the way. And, one thing I always tell people I'm working with is never tell yourself no. Make someone else do it, because they might say yes. Right. And, one thing that I always remember from when we were little, you had won the Junior Achievement Salesman of the Year, which really led to a lot of things. But even before that, it wasn't surprising, because when we were real little, you used to go door to door selling your used toys. And people would actually buy it. Even people without kids would buy it from you, which is crazy. So that's a good example of not saying no to yourself, and you'd be surprised what can happen if you're committed to what you're doing.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's funny when the stakes are up, you might have 10 people you go to. All you need is one to say yes, right? So if you get 9 no's, but you get 1 yes, that might be all you need.
Yeah. And, as a business owner, your most important job is to market and sell. Yeah. So, you have to be doing that, but it takes 7 to 12 touches before people generally buy from you. So, you have to spend time, and you have to get your no's. Actually, you have to really count no's as pluses, because that means you're getting closer to a yes.
I like that. That's great.
You have to be willing to take that risk and put yourself out there. But if you don't believe in what you're doing, why will someone else? Yeah. So, I think that's critical. So we've covered a whole bunch of things tonight, and really valuable stuff. But you think you could distill it down into 3 things that you want people to take with them that they can put to work immediately within their lives and their business?
So this is where you're supposed to give me those three questions beforehand, so I can kind of prepare them. But this will be off the cuff here. So I would say take the time, to make sure you have a solid, clear vision statement for yourself. I think it's really, really important. I would say, lock into something that you're really passionate about. I always believe that as you start to think about your future, and from a business perspective, if you're trying to figure out what kind of business to go into, what it is that you're trying to ultimately sell, sell something that, one, you're passionate about, and also something that, really plays towards your strengths. Right. And I think you find some really great stuff when you link your strengths and your passion together, which is great. And then I would say a third thing is just, you want to be, true to who you are. Don't chase what everyone around you is, how everyone else is trying to define the world for you. Determine what's important for you and go after it. That's I believe God has made all of us in a unique way. And how do you tap into that unique purpose and quality that you have to really, maximize your ability to add value to this world.
No, those are great. Those are great. You did a nice job, even on short notice. One thing about being a leader is you have to be prepared for anything. So, obviously you've demonstrated even more of your leadership skills, but, it's something that some people are born with certain inherent leadership capabilities, but everybody has the ability to be a leader. And it's really about, following the right things. And Ev lays all those things out in this book. You've heard about them tonight. They do work. They're time tested, and hope that this has been beneficial for you. I know it's always good to have great people on the show like you, Ev, and I appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to join us this evening. And we'll have to have you on again.
Yeah, no, it's my pleasure, and keep doing what you're doing. I mean, what you're doing through the SP Pro University, and really, this whole Leadership Live at 8:05. I mean, that's a demonstration of leadership. I'm very proud of what you're doing, and I'm glad that you invited me to be a part of it. And when I look at it from week to week, you have some great people coming through, and I'm just glad that I can be a part of it. And so, and thank you, Juanita. I see a comment in there. She is an amazing leader herself, Juanita Lomax. And so, thank you for that comment. Really appreciate it.
Okay, great. And yeah, definitely appreciate all the comments. We've gotten a lot of comments from, people tuning in, which we always appreciate. And thank you for tuning in and joining us. As we wrap things up, just going to, let you know that we have just this month completed 1 full year of Leadership Live at 8:05, talking small business. And we haven't missed one single Tuesday, which is great. And we've had so many tremendous people share their time and expertise to help you become a better leader. So what it's all about is, at the end of the day, the more you know, the more you grow and your business can grow. And that's why we're doing this for you. Thanks again, and look forward to catching you next week.
Thank you for listening to Leadership Live at 8:05, Talking Small Business. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and to the podcast on your favorite podcast platform. Leadership Live is one of the many valuable resources provided through the Small Business Pro University, empowering business owners to learn, profit, and grow. Find out more at spprou.com.